Shri Rajendra Jog, Executive Director, Syngenta Foundation, India. Dr. Lucíola, Head of Research, Brazilian Agriculture Research Corporation. Shri Anish Kumar, Director and Co-Lead, Transforming Rural India. Shri Saravanan N, Business Head, Sira Seeds. Shri Rajeev Ranjan Roy, Senior Journalist and Agriculture Economist.
That's it. We don't need time to see it.
Now I kindly request Pragya to come up on the stage. Dr. Rameshwar Singh. Former Vice Chancellor, Bihar Animal Science University. Shri Rajendra Jog, Executive Director, Syngenta Foundation, India. Shri Anish Kumar, Shri Saravanan N, Shri Rajeev Ranjan Roy, Now I request the session chairman to kindly start the session. Thank you, sir.
A very good afternoon. At the outset, I compliment and thank the organizers for the program and for giving this opportunity to be here with all of you. Sustainability, as we are talking since morning, is now a buzzword, and almost everybody is familiar with what are the nuances of sustainability. The international platforms, various forums, United Nations, they are all setting agenda for it. And there are so many national action plans and programs to implement it. And many countries have inked different, pacts to address the emerging issues of climate change. Sustainable Development Goals of the UN, and especially the goal 13, that is climate change, and how it is impacting our agriculture, our food production system, and how we can mitigate the problem of climate change. In that, agriculture is considered as one of the main, sectors which is contributing to production of methane and production of greenhouse gases, production of CO2, production of nitrous oxide, like that, and increasing use of chemicals, depletion of resources, shrinking of cultivable land, etc., etc. In this, lot of talk has gone in the morning also about the smallholder farmers. They will adopt the technology which can offer them better returns, better livelihood, and the sustainability is linked to income. So any technology which we are promoting, somebody has to foot the bill. It may directly lead to the income of the farmers, or it may be supported by taxpayer and policymakers. So naturally, we had I served in the Indian Council of Agriculture Research, and after that I served Bihar Animal Sciences University as the Vice Chancellor. In ICR, we had a division known as Natural Resource Management, NRM. And we used to talk about the transfer of technologies. In NRM, the rate was very low because high yielding varieties and other technologies which give direct benefit to the farmer, they are adopted by the farmer easily. Whereas water saving or less polluting or less emission generating technologies, like you can see the example of straw burning, these are not adopted by the farmers because they don't give them immediate benefit directly. The profit is not coming to the pocket of the farmer. So the policy environment has to support these things. And as I told, I am from the livestock sector. This is one of the, I would say, sunrise sectors in India, where we are seeing, kind of stagnation in crop production and per se the farm agriculture. But poultry, dairy, fisheries, these sectors are still growing at more than 6%, 6 to 8% per annum. And as more emphasis was given towards the prosperity of farmers or increasing the income of the farmers, the data and other schemes, they clearly revealed that these are the interventions in animal husbandry which are more paying, and there is more potential now available with the this sector, where we can increase the livelihood, we can increase the economic conditions of the rural India. As far as we are talking about Viksit Bharat, so as long back Mahatma Gandhi said, India lives in villages. Still, we are having a very high percentage of our population living in villages, and Viksit villages can only lead to Viksit Bharat. So we have to really work for the development of the villages where the majority of the people are smallholders. And in this, irrespective of the land holding, the livestock enterprises can be taken up by people who are not landowners as such. And in environment also, the kind of numbers of animals in India with low productivity, that is how we are adding towards methane production. So we need to have interventions very fast. Hamidji was talking about solutions. The solution in livestock sector lies with improving the genetic merit of our animals. And we have been trying for years. A lot of, we can see the change, we can see the improvement is there. And in this case, we cannot go with the speed with which we are going so far. We have to increase the speed, that is accelerate the breed improvement program, and a number of technologies are available. That's where the policy makers have to, play a bigger role. It may be the import of superior germplasm through, import of semen, import of embryos, import of live animals. But the obstacles like number of trained AI workers, number of frozen semen stations, the conditions of doing artificial insemination. In some states, the number varies, is as low as 20%. In some, it is almost touching 100%. We had some awardees from Kerala. Kerala is one state where the AI rate is almost 100% coverage, whereas I come from Bihar, where it is around 20% only. So this way, at this rate, it will take very long time for us to, if we want to double our average milk production per cow. But to become Viksit Bharat, by 2050 or 2047, we have to at least triple the the per animal productivity. If a cow is giving 2 to 4 liters, 5 liters per day, the minimum benchmark should be 10 liters per day. So we have to work for that. It may be genetic, merit upgradation. It may be balancing the ration, producing good quality fodder, and also using technologies like your silage making and use of good concentrates, where we are lacking. We are also lacking in even in dry roughages. So these technologies are coming now, and sex-sorted semen has already been started by government, where the problem of the stray animals, male animals, that is also one solution lies there. But the number of AI is being done by this sex-sorted semen is still very, very low. Only few thousand births are taking place in a year, where we need in few lakhs at least. So this can be really upgraded. So there are many issues, and we have been talking on this. Maybe the cooperative sector has shown us the way how the smallholders can be engaged, and some infusion of technology can take place even under the smallholder scenario. However, there are changes taking place. The young generation with nuclear family does not want to stay in the village, so rate of urbanization will go up. And with this, even in the village setup, the number of families having animals will decrease. It is going down day by day. And that's how commercial, semi-commercial farms are coming into existence. In Punjab, we see a lot of changes have taken place, where Holstein Friesian, pure Holstein Friesian is being propagated, being adopted on larger farms. Similarly, poultry industry, we are at par with the in productivity per bird, or the growth rate of broiler, or even layer we are having. But we have other issues like poor processing, value addition, very low value addition. And in feed, we have issues, availability of good quality maize, which we are now diverting for ethanol production also. So adding to the cost of feed production. So as such, a kind of policy has to be prepared on giving priority to either we produce maize separately for feed, that is a quota system is there, or we go for genetically improved or GM crops, that may be maize, that may be soybean, because technology is now has shown the safety. I, as a scientist, don't have any doubt on the safety of even the genetically modified crops, where for the last 40 years or more, several crops have been being used in large part of the world, and there have been no safety issues. So we have to be open to technology. In the forenoon sessions also, this point came that without technology, we cannot become sustainable. We may reduce the use of chemicals. We can reduce or substitute the more red zone chemicals to yellow zone, or yellow to green zone. That practice is always has been effort is being made into that. So with this background, I am optimistic that with the kind of commitment, with the kind of new interventions, with the kind of spread of knowledge through the modern platforms of communication, use of smartphones and all this. Now spread of knowledge is taking place very fast. So this will go a long way in helping creating awareness, and the next generation, which is coming up, that will be more aware on all these issues. And I'm sure that we will have lesser number of animals in future with more production. That is half the number of cattle and double the milk production. So with that idea, we have to work further. So time is the limiting factor, and we have very distinguished panelists with on the podium with me. So I would like to invite the panelists one by one. So help flag some of their points and have deliberations on that. So first of all, Anish ji is likely to leave, so I give the opportunity to him. So kindly enlighten on the good work being done and give your ideas on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Singh. And thank you, Agriculture Post and Navneet ji, for giving us an opportunity to share our reflections on this very important subject. I'm grateful for my co-panelists and the entire audience for having this very important conversation, which in many ways is the most critical driver of agriculture in 2024. If I were to look at the three key challenges or opportunities, either way it depends on what you are looking at, the same challenge could also be an opportunity. The three big drivers on the agriculture and food systems space are ecology, efficiency, and equity. By ecology, there is, in many ways, agriculture is output of the ecological system. There is a very strong energy food nexus. The ag food system consumes 30% of the energy and contributes 1/3 of the greenhouse gases. If you were to look at methane, 60% of the human originated, the Anthropocene methane comes from the food system. Similarly, if you were to look at the fresh water, in India actually, globally it is about 60% of the fresh water is consumed in the agriculture. In India it is close to about 80% of the fresh water is consumed. So if we were to look at agriculture going forward, we'll have to look at an ecological balance. More so in context of our farmers, there is a recent study which has indicated that 310 districts across, and these are in the more poorer states, have a challenge of climate adaptability and are prone to climate-induced shocks on the agriculture production system. So that is the first we have to deal with as going forward is the ecology. The second is efficiency. And as sir, you said that in poultry, and I've been working in the poultry sector for a very long time, we are very competitive globally. But that's not true with the food grains. There, we are, 27th on rice, I guess 23rd on wheat productivity. And if there is one estimate, if we were to just match next door China, which actually has less arable land than India, 126 million hectares compared to 142 million hectares in India, that would lead to releasing almost half of our arable land for other purposes or giving it back to nature. As we were talking about soil, in some ways, Professor Ratan Lal, who is the Norman Borlaug Prize winner, he keeps saying that the soil health is a reflection of the health of the people, the ecosystem, and in some ways, the new paradigm of One Health captures this continuum of health right from soil to nature to livestock to people. So that is the second frontier that we have to address, the productivity frontier. At one end, it is in the production system. At the other end, it is on the food to fork systems, farm to fork system, where supply chain efficiencies, particularly in India, is a serious matter of concern. The third is the issue of equity. More so in context of India, we have majority smallholders. Actually, small is a misnomer. 72% are marginal farmers. That's less than a football size field. The smallholder farmers progressively are getting, and this is, we don't have the 21 census. 2011 census indicated first time the number of cultivators, first time since census started in our country, and otherwise also common sense would indicate, first time number of cultivators reduced. And if the census were to happen now, we will further see that trend. So there is increased alienation from land of marginal farmers, they becoming laborers, first becoming agri-laborer in their own community, then shifting to a migrant circular laborer, and then becoming the underbelly of our cities. Smallholder marginal farmers as a category are the poorest in our country. Livestock, sir, as you rightly pointed out, given the promise that it holds even for landless people and for the women, historically in India, culturally, we have always looked at livestock income as something that belongs to women. So in some ways, the new way of farming which integrates livestock is an opportunity. But mind you, it is also one of the largest contributors of methane emission, and there are controls coming on that front. Over the years, terms of trade between ag and non-ag sector, particularly post-91 liberalization, has reduced in favor of the non-ag sector, increased in favor of the non-ag sector. So that's a challenge. If I was looking at one statistics that tells the marginalization story in a very different way, if you were to look at the situation assessment survey, 2018 indicated the cultivator income almost inflation adjusted remaining constant or decline. But during the same period, the income of agriculture industries, the agro industries increased by 8%. And the exports increased year on year by 12%. So export increased 12%, that's 50 billion plus dollars. The agri industry, and some of us are present here, increased 8%. Agriculture registered a growth of 3.5 to 4%, but the farmer income declined. What explains that? So in a recent study by the UN trade body, they have indicated that 70% of the global trade controlled by, as we know in agriculture, ABCD. The ABCD controls 70%, and that's where the most of the income increase has happened. These are the three, ecology, efficiency, and equity, I would consider as one of the key pegs when we talk of sustainability. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anish. Thank you very much. Energy, efficiency, and equity. These are the three buzzwords you have stressed very rightly, and the kind of new paradigms which are, happening. We will have to address all these three paradigms. Thank you so much. So, friends, all have heard about Syngenta. This is a world, global company very well known in agriculture, and they are coming up with new products and in agriculture sector. And Shri Rajendra is with us here. So I invite you, sir, for your comments.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, fellow panelists, and thank you, Navneet, for organizing this. I think on a very, very, very interesting subject, and needs deliberations, and subject of national importance, of course. I would focus more on the sustainability, which is because of climate change and the impacts of climate change, to which you alluded in the beginning. Climate change is getting increasingly critical across the world, and India, of course, is no exception. Nearly 80% of the smallholder farmers of the country are impacted at least by one element of the extreme climates, which could be either flood or drought, or high extreme temperatures, or frequent variations in relative humidity, variations in rainfall patterns, variety of things. And it is therefore, one of the estimate I was saying, because of the climate change and the impact of climate change, if it is not timely mitigated, then I was reading one of the McKinsey report which talks about India is likely to lose about 450,000 square kilometers of land, which is presently being or could be used for rain-fed rice production. Now that's a huge impact which could be seen if no interventions or no right steps are initiated at this point in time. Another important point in morning, one of the farmer from Akola specifically talked on the soil, and it is a fact that more than 30% of the soil in India is degraded, where we find the soil organic carbon is in the range of 0.3 to 0.4%, whereas recommended or the expected one is more than 1, which is between 1 and 1.5. Now this is happening possibly because of the excessive use of agrochemicals, fertilizers, or the tilling practices which are being followed in the country, variety, so on and so forth. Now, there are clear steps which could be taken to arrest this, at least the rate of change and the impact of climate change on the agriculture sector, because that's the most important area from the country's economy's point of view, because 50% of the workforce is employed by agriculture, and more than 17% is agriculture's contribution to our GDP. So therefore it becomes really important for us to address this. While different steps are being taken by different organizations and different interventions and solutions have been suggested and proof of concept have been delivered, I think we at Syngenta Foundation, what we tried to do was, because we did not find any organization working at a cluster level or a village level and demonstrating on a larger scale how climate smart agriculture and the interventions proposed or recommended could be implemented. And while implementing those, when we say we implement climate smart agriculture, essentially there are three objectives. One is to improve the resilience of agriculture system to the impacts of climate change. That's one. Second is to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. And third is to improve the productivity, yield, and therefore the income of the farmer sustainably. To achieve this, what we did was we selected a village in collaboration with NABARD. We are doing that project. We already completed a year, and another 1 year we'll run that project. So this was in a village called Murudgaon Belsare in Wardha district in Maharashtra, where 158 households have been practicing all the interventions that we are teaching them for doing climate smart agriculture or resilient agriculture. Now it all started from creating awareness, providing right kind of education, providing necessary communication across those households, encouraging them to adopt these practices. And with experience, we can see that no farmer will adopt any practice if you tell him that with this practice you will reduce the greenhouse gas emission. You know, he is not interested in that. He does not see what it means really. For him, if we show that this practice will improve your productivity, your yield, and therefore income, and of course, by the way, it will also improve soil organic carbon or reduce greenhouse gas emission, he is willing to do it. And to encourage him to do that, what we normally do in this project as well, that we put up demo plots where we demonstrate these practices. So when he sees that it actually has yielded better productivity, better income, then he is very happy to adopt those sustainable measures. And by showing better integrated nutrient management, integrated pest management, soil health management, water use efficiency improvement, variety of steps we could show in 3 different crops there, soybean, cotton and wheat. And I'm happy to state that at the end of the year, we could get very encouraging results. I think in soybean, we could see a yield improvement of anything between 20 to 30% with reduction in input cost of about 29%. And in cotton also, it was yield improvement of again close to 20% plus, and the input cost reduction was 18%. So this was very, very encouraging, and to get this done across 158 households and everybody following that was really good. One another initiative that we took, and Government of India, of course, has also put in a lot of steps. They came out with soil health cards, creating awareness so that soil is the most important thing when we talk of sustainable, climate smart, resilient agriculture. What we did last year, we took on project mode. About 36,000 samples were collected across 3 different states. And all of them, we got them tested in good reputed laboratories, got the reports, explained the reports back to each farmer from where we had taken the sample through our agri-entrepreneurs, because we run a model called agri-entrepreneur. And we found out at the end of it, we again did a survey, and almost without exception, every farmer reduced his input fertilizer cost by 10%. Because most of them, without knowing what their soil is, just because my neighbor is applying 2 bags of urea, I am putting 2 bags of urea. That kind of thing got completely changed. They understood what the soil really wanted, and only that much input was provided, and that really helped them. So I think it is important that we take this knowledge to the last mile, to the smallholder farmers, and make sure we create that awareness. And then they're more than willing to support that if they get the right advice, right technology in time. That's something which I wanted to just share.
Thank you, Mr. Jog. You rightly emphasized on the community level, cluster level approach and reaching the last mile and doing, explaining or linking the sustainable technologies with the cutting of input cost, especially reduction in the level of fertilizers, and also reduction in the total input cost. So that is the one way we can improve the adaptability rate for the sustainability practices. Colleagues, we have Shri Saravanan from Sira Seeds, and the earlier sessions also we had some representatives from seed companies and Seed Federation of India. Yeah, so we got some good insights, and I'm looking forward to Shri Saravanan also to give his inputs and how the company is helping the farmers and sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. A very good afternoon to one and all. First of all, let me congratulate to Grey Matters for organizing such a wonderful event. I take this opportunity to introduce myself briefly to set the context. I've been working in seed industry for almost 22, 23 years, and all through the career, my romance with seeds still continues. I worked with row crops. I handled vegetable, then I handled cotton, and now I moved to forage seeds. So as a seedman, I just would like to bring a perspective and context to the topic, that is sustainable agri-food system. Seed has always been the torch bearer of any solution to agriculture-related challenges. Now we have been a famine hit, or a country which was lacking food grains in post immediately after our independence. And today we have grown up to a stature wherein we do a food grain diplomacy. So it's all because of seed, high-yielding seed varieties and technologies that ably supporting the seed to support the overall food production, and we are self-reliant and self-sufficient in our food security. Similarly, with the same context, I just today's topic of livestock, I'd like to cover it in 4 small topics. Number 1, the importance of livestock production. Number 2, the impact of livestock on the climate change, then impact of climate change on the livestock production, and finally, sustainable solution to overcome it. Just before diving into the actual topic, we need to have a mindset to understand the sustainability. I just take the help of an African proverb which says, we do not inherit the planet from our ancestors. No, we borrow it from our future generations. Now, this simple thought will definitely give us the right mindset to assess the self-sustainability of the planet and humankind. The importance of livestock, I just will throw a few key statistics around it. 14% of humans' dietary requirement it is coming from the livestock, be it meat, milk products, or egg. Almost 26% of protein requirement for human being. Again, the source is livestock. 1.7 billion people across the globe, they have a direct employment and direct or indirect employment through livestock. They have a dependency. 40% of any nation's economy, the GDP, agricultural GDP will depend on livestock. India, it is around 25% of India's agricultural GDP depends on livestock. There are countries like Sudan where it is as high as 60%. And India, home to world's largest cattle population, more than 535 million cattle. And India is the world's largest milk producer. 23% of world's milk is produced in India. And more than 9 crore households, they are directly involved in the milk production. So we have huge, importance of livestock, that need to be taken into account. The second about what is the impact of livestock on the climate. I mean, climate change, we have been discussing, we know that it is not a topic of tomorrow, it is a topic of yesterday. So we are already late, but nevertheless, we need a serious and in total and inclusiveness in approaching the problem, bringing a solution to it. 14% of global greenhouse gas emission is because of livestock. We know methane is the largest contributor to it. And 65% of agriculture's greenhouse gas emission is because of livestock. So if it continues, if we continue doing what we have been doing, every single year we are losing closer to 10 million hectares of forest just because of livestock ranching, establishment of ranches and pasture lands. 10 million hectares, which is as big as a country like Portugal. And every day we are losing 10,000 acres of Amazon forest, which is world's one of the precious ecosystem, which contributes a significant role to maintain the overall climate resilience. These are the negative side of what I said, the impact of livestock production on the environment. And the climate change also equally have a big role to play on the livestock production, like increasing temperature, having a serious impact on food grain, especially the fodder production. The milk yields are going down because of it. A lot of newer disease and pests, which are emerging now, which creates a unhealthy among the cattle. So these are few of the impact of climate change that is having on livestock. A few of the possible solution to the sustainable livestock production. There are very simple three. Number one, improving the livestock production technologies. See, India traditionally, if we restrict our communication only to India, like for any milk or the milk production, we need only 4 parameters. One, the breed. Second, feed. Third, the growing environment. And fourth is the health of animal. So breed, we don't have any control once we made a decision of purchasing a certain breed. But feed, there is a mixture, the dietary balancing, which comprises of green fodder, dry fodder, concentrates, and silages. This has to have a scientific balancing of it. 75% of green fodder is what recommended from the scientific community. But in practical, farmers don't follow it. There are very good, excellent seed varieties that are introduced by various companies, including our own brand, Sira, which advocates more from less. More biomass with a highly nutritive green fodder can be cultivated with a very less number of area. The seeds that are having ability to rejuvenate, multiple cut, and they are highly suitable for perennial cultivation. So these kind of adopting to newer seed varieties of forage which are having higher, especially legumes, right equation, right combination of legume crop in the animal diet will significantly improve its digestibility, and thus it will also bring down the methane emission. So it is quality diet for all, for human as well as the livestock, and more from less and more with less. Thank you all for a wonderful opportunity.
Thank you very much, Saravanan. You have given insights into the role of livestock sector and many good points related to the impact of livestock on our economy, impact of livestock on our ecosystem and environment and climate change, and how to mitigate it. So thank you very much. We have Shri Rajeev Ranjan Roy with us. He is a journalist and he works for agriculture sector, and I invite him to give his insights as he sees the agriculture sector and the farmers. What are the issues from your perspective as a journalist? Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. As a journalist, in fact, I have been writing about agriculture for almost over 2 decades now. I think that this sector is faced with a very piquant situation where we have a lot of ideas, thoughts, but very poor in terms of implementation. And we are pathetic in auditing the outcome of inputs, outcome of farmers' access to the facilities, what is the outcome of the positive policies of the government and how it is having a positive impact on farmers in general, but small and marginal farmers in particular. We do know that Indian agriculture is growing at the rate of 4%, we have the data, but we did never try to find out what is the contribution of 85% small and marginal farmers to that growth rate. That's number one point. And how small and marginal farmers are getting benefited from that growth. Is there a mismatch between the growth rate and the small and marginal farmers? Are small and marginal farmers giving the same kind of education and health care to their children, which is being given by the medium-sized and large farmers of the country who are only 15% of the total population? Not to be precise, it could be 16% or it could be even 14%. There is a huge gap between the two. Because in terms of the land holding, 15% farmers are very rich farmers. The size of the land they have, I think that's really huge. With the income, they can send their children to the best of schools, to the best of institutions, but the marginal farmers cannot do that. This is, I think, one of the important aspects of our agriculture sector we need to talk about. Now, I would also like to highlight here what is the contribution of small and marginal farmers to the degradation, environmental degradation which is taking place in the country and which is being, put into the kitty of the agriculture sector. It's a very less. It's a very less. They are not a major contributor to the environmental degradation which is being caused by the agriculture, but they are bearing the brunt of this degradation at the highest level. And I think this is something we don't talk about. I have never heard, attended any kind of people do talk about the small and marginal farmers, their income should be increased. But nobody tells us how their income will increase. Now you tell me I'm a farmer, I have 4 acres of land. How much money I can annually earn out of 4 acres of land? The land is fertile, water problem is there because the number of dark zones is increasing across the country. Nobody's talking about that. We don't have access to water. And now neither we have funds to, extract water from beneath the earth. So we are totally dependent upon the rains. And rains, the kind of rains we have in our country in the past, the pattern of rains has changed like anything. Sometimes we have rains when it is too late for, rice cultivation, something like this. But still we have to survive. So as a result, as one of the panelists also pointed out, small and marginal farmings are giving up, farming. They are moving towards, they are migrating to bigger cities, doing something else, and they at least want to ensure that their children don't get into farming. And that's the real story. Last point I would like to make, if I give the example of my village, it's a village of farmers like many other villages in the country. Now today, 90% people don't want to do farming at all. They have outsourced their land, whatever they have, and they have moved out because they don't have access to water. And I'm very happy that this topic is so important topic, but nobody did talk about the water management. And even I cannot talk about water management because we don't have water. When there is no water, what should be managed? You tell me. There has been no rains in my area for the past almost 45 days, and farmers are waiting for, for this rice cultivation. Barish hogi, to dhan ki rupai hogi, but we don't have water, so we are not worried about managing water. Now, small farmers have some land, but they could manage, soil health, etc. Input, some other things are there. Animal husbandry is very important part of agriculture, but for want of institutionalized approach, even small and marginal farmers are not getting benefit of this sector. Last but not the least, I personally feel that we need to be very holistic and institutionalized in our approach to take care of farmers, which is unfortunately not happening even now, but we will have to adopt that approach. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Rai, for highlighting the concerns of smallholder farmers and how the technology penetration or the kind of income concerns of small farmers are not being addressed, and it is also difficult to address with the limited resources available to them. That is, land itself is limiting. Immigration is taking place. So, policy environment has to take care of such situation, and technologies, appropriate technologies for smallholder farmers are also key to this. So, with this, we conclude this session. I am highly thankful to all the panelists. Yeah, and
we have
all
a
right,
video
all
message
right.
from Dr. Lucíola, Head of Research, Brazilian Agricultural Research Corporation. I would request Divyansh to kindly play the video, please.
Thank you for that.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this event. I'm Dr. Lucíola Magalhães, Head of Research and Development at EMBRAPA Territorial. Today, I'm excited to share insights into the sustainability of Brazilian agriculture and livestock and our efforts in Brazil. I prepared some slides to share with you. Just a minute, please. Okay. Our objective at EMBRAPA Territorial is to understand the territory using data, analysis, and information. We focus on several research lines, but today I will talk about evaluation of national agriculture in connection with ecosystem services and sustainability. Brazilian agriculture has taken significant steps on this matter. We have a forest code that requires farmers to preserve part of their land for native vegetation. This law protects 227 million hectares. Forest code data, combined with other official records, reveals that Brazil dedicates 66.3% of its territory to protect, preserve, and conserve native vegetation. On the top of our environmental commitments, Brazil produces food for over 1 billion people, while using only 30% of its land, less than 8% for crops, and around 21% for pastures. To achieve high productivity rates, Brazilian farmers adopt the best technologies available, such as no-till farming and biological nitrogen fixation, for example. Brazil also uses integrated systems like crop, livestock, forest, allowing for a balance between carbon capture and carbon emission, resulting in a carbon-neutral meat. Brazilian agriculture has created a unique, sustainable, and competitive model of tropical farming. Brazilian agriculture also contributes significantly to our energy matrix, particularly through agroenergy. Agriculture produces around 31% of the Brazilian energy matrix and consumes only 5%, a positive balance. Brazil obtains 47% of its energy matrix from renewable sources. Around the world, this percentage is only 14%, only 11% in OECD countries. The recognition of environmental services provided by farmers is crucial. A law established in 2021 sets the national policy on payment for environmental services, ensuring that farmers' contributions are valued and supported. The federal government has also formalized the forest conservation activity, recognized it as an economic activity. When with that, currently, Brazil already has numerous formalized companies for this purpose, and this number tends to increase. I hope to have been able to show you that in Brazil, production and preservation go hand in hand. Lastly, I would like to invite you to reinforce partnerships between our countries, especially in areas related to artificial intelligence. Please feel free to get in touch, and thank you once again for the invitation. I wish you all a great event, and I hope to see you in Brazil.
Thank you, Dr. Lucíola. Thank you very much.
I would like to express my gratitude to our panel members